Well, today, family, we're going to speak about what I see other reviewers do that I feel is, it kind of bugs me out sometimes. And then I may get some crazy comments here and there, or they may not think that I appreciate certain things. So just want to kind of like talk about those two things. So what I did was I put a bunch of colognes here that I wanted to talk about. Like, for example, Azaro Wanted, right? A lot of flankers. I would tell you they're all really good. If you're building a collection, I would say don't invest too much in one brand. Like, buy a few if they have a few good offerings and then keep it moving, right? And for me, the Azaro line, and trust me, I've smelt them, and I actually have a 10 mil of the one that comes after this. I'll show you guys. Look, so I'm not lying to you. I think it's in a box right here. See? Bizarro, the most wanted. So I do have it, guys. What I would say is, if you're going to build a big collection, stick to just one. Any one of them is good. It's really up to you. It's a preference point. So that's where I would take this conversation. That's why I put this piece here. Because you got a bunch of good Asaro Wanteds. Now, if you want them more, you can have them all. But I would say, if you're going to build a big collection, just try to get one that you really like out of all of them. And then after you build your collection and you want to go back and pick up the other ones, do as you please. It's just friendly advice. Now, let's say a Sauvage Parfum, right? Here's the problem I see with this. You see a lot of reviewers just downgrade a Dior Sauvage. Oh, it's everybody got it. Who cares? I don't want to be that person. Blah blah blah. But they'll like the elixir. Granted, the elixir is really good, but I'm here to tell you guys that just because something is used a lot does not mean it's not good. Now, obviously, I have the Parfum version for my age, who I am. This is the best one for me. I've never smelled the EDP or the Toilette, but once I smelled this, it was just perfect for me. I have smelled the Elixir. I did a review on it. That's a great upgrade. Now, if you wanted to see, that is a good thing to speak about. If you're going from the Parfum to the Elixir, it's good to have both if you want both, because they're very different, right? But they're the same in the sense that it's the same line, but they're actually different fragrances. Now, I put two unique luxuries here. I seen a reviewer talk about Kute and speak about Crush on Me, right? And he was saying how, oh, it's too strong. Oh, it's like linear. It's this, it's that, it's that, it's this. A whole bunch of things he has to say. But what I'm trying to understand is, and I'm not trying to insult nobody here, I've been collecting and buying since I was young, a kid, 9 years old. I was stealing my father's stuff at 4. Once I was able to go to the mall and buy at 9 years old, my mother was giving me money to purchase, and I was purchasing the best stuff you could purchase in the market at that time for a person that was my age that wanted to smell really good. You know what I mean? Okay, so when I say this is master blending, right? I'm gonna break it down so people can understand how some reviewers just, I think, are not knowledgeable. What is the problem you see Amouage having right about now with all their, it's straight to 53, 45%, 40%? You know what their problem is, guys, that they're having with these Amouages? They're too concentrated. It doesn't work. Sometimes, just because, more doesn't always mean better, guys. More does not always mean better. So, when you talk about master blending, you see the one thing you can always countdown these reviewers to say, oh, this projects, oh, this lasts, but they don't even know how this really works. But at least they're telling you that truth. And what that means is that's master blending. They can have high oil concentrations and it works. You see them? It's called master blending. So some of you reviewers, man, just, dial it back a little and understand a fragrance before you criticize it or criticize how it works and why it works this way. Understand master blending, right? Because you see Amouage having a big problem with their jubilation, reflection, man. The only one that seemed to work out for them is the interlude one, the 53. But the other two give a lot of people a lot of problems, right? You're spending all that money and it doesn't really project or last or this is what it doesn't last. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Master blending, guys. Master blending. So I hope the reviewer that crushed this learned something from this. I seen another reviewer. I mean, listen, you have the right to like whatever you want, right? But, he dissed my poor Sunshine, man. I mean, he just annihilated it, saying how it doesn't smell good and, it's okay. This Amouage is better than this one. Maybe it doesn't work on your skin, my guy. Maybe you're not really handsome enough to put this on and pull it off. Maybe that's it, Because this is one hell of a fragrance. I've never seen a mint fragrance beat a lavender fragrance and smelling good to any female. Sorry. So, again, I'm just trying to help out the viewers. I just want you guys to understand how perfumery works. I have mint fragrances. I like them, but I've never seen one outdo a lavender. Guy just shredded my poor Sunshine, man. And then just so you can see I'm not a hater, that same reviewer was talking about this Acadinis from Unique Luxury. And you see how I big up Unique Luxury. But I would say that has to go to a more a nose that has to like, aquatics with leather in the aquatic. Now the dry down is very, very good, but these things last extremely long. So the opening is I wouldn't say challenging to me. I am going to pick up a bottle, but right now I'm just trying to pick up what I feel is their best. So I'm not going to lie to you people and just hype up something that doesn't really deserve the hype unless you like those type of notes. So just know, I just tell you these guys because I just letting you know who I am. Then, here's what bugs me out the most. I've had some comments because I say how, I feel purchasing these stuff, right? Because I bought this when this was the real deal. And to smell it today, you're going to say, well, it is different, ain't the same. And it's true. But I get more compliments wearing this than I do wearing clones. And the one thing I'm going to say about this, I'll put it back here. When it comes to these fragrances, the one thing I like is that they're not off-putting in the beginning, right? They're not off-putting, guys. They're just really good. So for $25, a 200 ml, I think this is a perfect cheapie to buy. And it lasts all day. Just spray. And if you say I'm a hater, or I don't like clones, or I don't have clones, let me show you guys something. So I have this one. Now, does it smell bad? No. Is it horrible? No. Here's the truth. The beginning is off-putting. For at least an hour, it's a little too lemony, chemically. It doesn't suck. It's not that it's whack. It's just not good from Jump Street. So I'm trying to avoid these and buy the ones that, like Obsession right there, that work perfectly from Jump Street. Here's another one. Think I'm hating? I'm not hating. I like this Amber Oud Tobacco Edition. I do. I do like it. But I'm going to say again, and I've used it. See? I slowed down this winter. I'm using the Obsession. This is a nice dry down. I'm not hating on it, but the truth is the opening is rough, guys. It's rough. So I'm just trying to stay away from this and get into ones that work well. And what I've noticed is instead of buying all these clone houses, which some of them do work good, and I'll prove it to you, I'm not a hater. Look, 9 p.m. I have another 9 p.m. And it was a female one, but it smelled like cotton sheets. Yo, smells good. I personally would buy this one again. Do I think it's a identical clone of John Paul Gaultier? No. Is it close? Yeah, it's 80%, something like that. It's not bad. Smells great though. Regardless, lasts long and smells great. I would buy this again. So see, guys, I'm not a hater. Just want to show you. Hawassi, right? I have it. Look, I actually still have some left. Here's the truth, guys. Do I think this is whack? No, this is really good. I really want to buy this again and just leave it there and wear it sparingly. That's how good this is. Truth. Here's another one, guys. The horror. Let me see if I have the box here. I can show you guys. Yes. There you go. See? This one smells great, guys. For 20 bucks, you cannot go wrong, guys. $20 smells great. I would buy this again. Why? It doesn't smell horrible off of Jump Street. Okay, guys? So I'm not a hater. I do have clones. I do try stuff. I do wear stuff. Here's the best clone house I've seen. It's called The Collection. Or my bad. Natural, yeah, The Woods Collection. And look, it's a really nice box. See, fits in there, give you an atomizer. And this is supposed to smell like from Louis Vuitton, Am Nomad, the Rose Oud fragrance. And let me tell you something, guys. I've actually smelled that one, and I smelled this one. Man, they really nailed it. And what I mean by nailed it is, you see, when I tell you they nailed it, it's not that they nailed it like this. Peep this, guys. I want you to listen to me. This is how they nailed this fragrance. The scent profile is identical. But obviously, if you put them side by side, the Louis Vuitton Abnormal, whatever it's called, that Rose Oud one, is more richer. The oud is just better. It's better. It's better, right? It's plain out, flat out better. But I would say this: to an untrained nose in the air, this Wood Collection, this Royal Night, man, it is really effing good. Now see, if you're gonna buy clones like this that smell like this off the Jump Street, that they actually nailed the scent profile. Sorry guys. They nailed the scent profile. And on top of that, it's not off-putting at all. Those are the type of clones I want to get into if I were to buy. And these would be good to keep your collection. Like the expensive stuff you buy, you hold and you spray it as you want. And then you buy things like this that are not off-putting, smell great off the rip, right? And it's just, it's a wonderful fragrance. And also the one thing I would say too is the Ombre Nomad from Louis Vuitton is a 16-hour fragrance. This is an 8-hour fragrance, but they nailed the scent profile. But obviously, the ingredients are much richer in the Louis Vuitton one, 100%. But the scent profile is nailed completely. But if you put them side by side, you can tell which is which, But regardless, phenomenal fragrance. And 50 bucks. Go to Joma Shop. This is the name, guys. The Woods Collection. Try them out. So, let's go back to, I put all these bottles here for a reason. Oh, Grand Soir. Now listen, guys. If when a reviewer tells you that other cheap amber fragrance is more sexy than Grand Soir, just leave that reviewer alone, right? There are other good amber fragrances. I have some really good, but there's only one fragrance I think that can challenge this as probably the greatest amber fragrance for women, like what a woman likes. So when I tell you this is a 12, that's what a woman's reaction is going to be. They're going to be like, whoa, when they smell this. Not like just a regular, oh, you smell really good. Oh, that's really good. A 10 gets their attention, 9, bordering 9, 10. And then the 11, 12s, and those are really like grabbing them by the head and pulling them. Look at me. So as far as a sexy fragrance to a female, this is an automatic 12, guys. And when they say something is better than this, and this is like, they're like, oh, I don't like Grand Soir. You're like, really? You don't like Grand Soir over that freaking $80 amber fragrance? Really? I tell you, some of these reviewers, oh my God. And what makes it worse, that same reviewer would say this. S-Boy's better than Parfum from Dior. You see, that's when your credibility goes out the window, right? And if you don't believe me, and if you know who this reviewer is, I didn't want to say their name, go to their channel and you'll notice. In their channel now, they got the whole Max Aroma playbook. But I would say this, that is a good playbook, right? I live in New York. I've purchased a lot from Max Aroma. Great place to purchase from. They have a great, assortment of great colognes. I will not make fun of Max Aroma. I'm making fun of the reviewer that will tell you S-Boy smells better than Dior Parfum. I mean, are you freaking insane, man? And I'm sure they probably told you the same thing. You're an idiot. So now that reviewer is playing the Max Aroma playlist. You'll see. Go look if you know what I'm talking about. They're doing the Max Aroma playlist, guys. And you see, I'm not a hater. Just telling you what it is. Now let's go back. Let's go back to this one. Tobacco Rose. Here's what I see. Sometimes I get messages like, unisex fragrances. Look, here's my take on unisex fragrances. If you're single, you should really listen to me. Now, if you're married, have a wife, then maybe she don't want you smelling like this. I'm not saying she does or she doesn't. I don't know. You can always buy it and share. I'm sure she'll like some of them on you. But if you're single, trust me when I tell you this, guys. I was hanging out when everybody was clubbing and partying. I used to see guys wear I'm not saying they put on women perfume, man. I'm not telling you to do that. Right? That's a unisex fragrance. It has tobacco and rose. You know how many fragrances a guy wears that has rose in it and tobacco? Come on. Sorry. And it has chocolate. Chocolate's a unisex fragrance, guys. So let's keep going. I've seen guys wear like borderline stuff as far as like when it came to like those Bath and Beyond products, those like shit that smell feminine that you could just buy, anybody could buy. I seen them use that. And the girls will go crazy. I used to see it. I'd be like, yo, man, that's crazy. But it works. So if it works, it can work for you. So when you see me advise these unisex fragrances, it's not because I'm telling a guy who is married with 10 children to buy this. I'm telling the guy who's single that's out trying to meet a girl that he likes, I seen these things work. And maybe it'll work for you. So, and I'll never advocate, go buy women perfumery. No, that's crazy. No. I mean, I understand in the niche world, you will see where you can wear some stuff, but not designer, obviously. So, you know what? Let's do this one. Here's the hype. I mean, it's just when they start hyping stuff like crazy. This smells like This mustache smells like, what you call that shit? Tuxedo. Let me explain something to you guys. You do know that this is the EDP, right? There was an Eau de Toilette made in 1960. If I'm not correct, there was no tuxedo done, right? In 1960 or 19 something. This thing is old as hell, guys. If you do the research, this freaking company is old as hell. So all of a sudden, they have an Eau de Toilette of this. They make a parfum of it. And now every influencer saying, it smells like tuxedo. People go crazy, buy it. This thing was so hard to get. It was just hyped. Guys, look, this is a great fragrance on its own. And it's always been on its own. And it was an EDT before it was an EDP. So this is not a clone of anything. This is just what it was prior. They just stepped it up. Now, if it happens to smell like something that's already famous, but this was done first as an EDT, doesn't that, like make you think anything? Like, don't fall for those gimmicks, man. But this does smell good. I get more than 8 hours on my clothes. I get like 12-hour mark. Smells really good, guys. Long lasting, and it works. And you get it for cheap, like $35. I mean, how can you go wrong with that, guys? So I'm not hating on the fragrance. I'm mentioning that because what happens is they'll hype the fragrance up. The price goes skyrocket. Meanwhile, it's just a regular fragrance that smells good for cheap. It's the big deal. Now, I put this here, Portrayal Man, right? I want to say one thing, man. Some of these, listen, I put this here, right, to make fun of the reviewers that said this smells like Dior Fahrenheit, the original formulation. Look, guys, in order for you to smell the original formulation, Dior Fahrenheit, it came out like in 1986. I was 9 years old. Yeah, I smelled it. I already owned Obsession. Eternity came out 2 years later, or like a year later. Cool Water came out. I already had Polo Green for my father. My mother used to wear a lot of Cartier stuff, but that wasn't, as a kid, it didn't really, for some reason, the Polo, the Obsession, had my, and that got, to be honest, as a kid, I would say commercials helped because you would see a lot of that in the 80s. But let's retract, and when you hear these reviewers say this smells like the Dior Fahrenheit original, listen, it just, again, ruins your credibility of what are you even talking about? This smells nothing like the original Dior Fahrenheit. Amouage Portrayal Man, yes, it has violet leaves. It's just like the pineapple note, right? You say pineapple, Aventus. That is not the way it works, guys. Okay? Just because you smell pineapple does not make it Aventus. And just because you smell violet leaves does not make it Dior Fahrenheit. So, it just bugs me out, the community. Back in the days, not for nothing, people, were more on point, a lot of reviewers have left. To all the guys you see, they're new, and a lot of reviewers 8, 9, 10 years ago that were reviewing have stopped. I know why they stopped, because of the nonsense. They got fed up. It wasn't about panty dropping and all this stuff. It's about good colognes, how long they last, do females find them attractive and stuff of that nature. But nowadays, everything is saturated, and it's really the consumer, right? The person watching is all hung up on these, influencers. Well, look, I'm just a reviewer, and, reviewing wasn't about this, guys. Reviewing was actually about the art, the craftsmanship of the work of the perfumers. And I'm going to tell you something, too. A lot of the guys you see with 100,000, 200,000 subscribers, they were not there. They were like at 10,000, 5,000 when I used to see them. They wasn't the top dogs at all. At all. And their reviews back then were good. I'm going to give a shout out to I think he's the top reviewer, right, in the men's game. And you know what? Like I give it to him, man. becoming number one, you're gonna have to take on all those clones, and you gotta like feed the masses, and he does a great job without selling out, right? And he's called Jensen's. And if you watch his old stuff, he's a true dog, man. He would speak about the real OG stuff, the fire stuff, like a lot of older reviewers will do, you know? So I'm not saying they didn't do it. I'm just saying, Jensen definitely is leading the pack right now as a male reviewer by the numbers, by subscription. Jensen's is the top dog. And you know what? He deserves it. He's a real dog. He's put in the work, and he knows a lot about a lot of stuff, guys. So reviewing used to be a lot more artistic, man. Hopefully it gets back to that and people start enjoying the actual reviews on the fragrance. You know what I mean? Like, subscribe, Man Cologne channel. You know how we do. Just had to rant something out today, and I'm out. Praise to the Most High.